welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. Now, before we get into today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you never miss a post from us. And today's story is all about Manchester United women. Now, obviously, Manchester United have been without a manager since Casey Stoney announced that she was resigning from the club back in May. Now, it's nearing on 2 months to the exact numerical date that Stoney announced her departure, and there has been no confirmation as to who will be taking over for her next season, and the players are growing in some concern as to whether they actually will be playing as a team next season and who should be the manager. In a statement via The Athletic, it says the players are preparing to approach the PFA with multiple sources insist the club has unanimous support from the staff of Manchester United women. The squad are frustrated by the failure to appoint a new manager and are losing faith in communication channels. That is, the squad were informed several weeks ago that the club had whittled down a short list of potential replacements to 2, but have not been informed of those candidates. So, it's obviously incredibly disappointing to see this happen from Manchester United. Obviously, they've only been around for a few years, but what Casey Stoney managed to achieve in them few years is absolutely nothing short of incredible. Obviously, winning the FA Women's Championship in their first season, and then doing okay in their first WSL season, but obviously getting halted down to COVID, and then this past season finishing 4th just outside of a Champions League place. So you've got to give Casey Stoney and that team credit there, but it has been very disappointing over these last few weeks and even months really, with how the women's team have been treated compared to the likes of the men's team. Now, there was some rumours that they were unhappy that they were not given one of the changing rooms at Carrington Training Ground until only recently, the last month or so of the season, and the fact that the academy teams and the younger ages were given priority over them, and it was very disappointing due to the fact of how the accommodation and training facilities that were provided for the women weren't obviously up to good enough standards that they were hoping for. A club statement came out afterwards saying the club has appointed new medical physio and sports science staff for the women's team and have been actively engaged in an extensive recruitment process for a new team manager, taking the necessary time to ensure the best candidate for the job is appointed. Several sources, this is again back to an Athletic statement saying, describe the quality of accommodation available to the players last season as comparable to student housing and disgusting. Due to the pandemic, Man United women had switched temporarily to Carrington at the turn of the year, where they were based in temporary accommodation and unable to shower. The men's first team was spread through 3 dressing rooms due to COVID protocols, with the club's under-23s and under-18s taking precedence in a further 3 changing areas. In response to that Athletic statement, the club came out with saying facilities for the women's team at Carrington are now being upgraded over the summer and the first part of the season, and in the longer term the intention is for a fully integrated approach to the training ground with the women's team, men's team and academy. So that's obviously possibly good news, but if you don't have a club manager going forward, and that is where the Man United players are growing in concern, and obviously there's concerns from fans as well, with a lot of players leaving. Obviously, American duo Tobin Heath and Kristen Press were only here on 1-year deals, and I think it was expected that once the NWSL season over in America got full up and running again like it was pre-pandemic, then they would be heading back to America. But then to see the likes of Jess Sigsworth, Jane Ross, Amy Turner all leave, and potentially Lauren James, who's been the subject of bids from Chelsea, has got a lot of Manchester United fans angry at the way that the club have been handling this over the last few months or so. Now, there's been talk that the people responsible for the women's team are Richard Murtaugh, who has been brought in recently to do the transfers on the men's side, but it hasn't been said as to what he is doing in terms of the women's, whether he's a part of the transfer strategy side or whether he is one of them that is just helping with the running of the club, which is obviously something that is needed to help run the club, because obviously in an attempt to become one of the biggest names in the women's game, you need to spend money and have the right people do it. But it doesn't seem that Manchester United currently, at this minute in time, are doing that right thing to have them bridge the gap to the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester City in the WSL, let alone the rest of the European clubs. So it's massively disappointing, and we're hoping that within the next few weeks, before the season starts and as the players set to come back from pre-season or full pre-season, that the club can announce a manager and get some signings underway to help them challenge for a title. Obviously, it's not just Manchester United who have been in this position. Birmingham City themselves are in a really bad position. Obviously, they've now got a new manager in Scott Booth, who joined from Glasgow City. But the way their club was run over the last 12 months or so sees them left with like 13 players. I don't know how many are fully guaranteed contracts for next season, but it is a really bad sight to still be seen in this day and age in the women's game, when obviously the big money TV deal is coming in this summer, this season coming up, where you see the likes of Sky and BBC taking precedent over the women's game, adding some more money. So hopefully we see the end of women's teams being treated unfairly and badly in the game, and we get to see them given the right sort of deals and treatment, and we soon be able to see big transfers in the women's game as well as it has been in the men's game. Right, that is all. We'll be back tomorrow for our weekly transfer roundup on all the transfer deals that have happened around the world of women's football. And until then, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a post, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to keep up to date with all the transfers as they happen. Until then, we'll see you soon.